David Price retires Dave Allen on his stool to win a 10th round stoppage. Let's talk about it. This fight I predicted, I think it was, I can't remember from the top of my head, I think it was a 5th round stoppage for David Price, because I believe David Price had a bit more power in the tank. I believe Allen would start too slow, and I thought David Price would be a bit eager and hungry to get him out. The fight was it a shock? It wasn't a shock. I wouldn't say the word shock is the right word. It was David Price impressed me with the amount of composure he had. I knew he was an amazing boxer, but I thought with the lights and everything and with the mental issues and all of that he would just play into Allen's hands, but still win the trade-off. I didn't even think Allen actually had that much power, to be honest, to really hurt Price, given Price is chinny, but Allen isn't really a puncher. Yeah, he throws this a weird overhand right, but it's very untechnical. David Price boxed beautifully. He landed some amazing uppercuts, clean shots, and from the first bell he was in control with the jab. I've never seen David Price in a long time so composed. He looked so relaxed. He was hurting Allen to the body well. And Allen looked like somebody he just pulled from the street to get in a boxing ring. I mean, he was completely terrible. The man was throwing tippy-tapper. I don't know what he called it. It was like in slow motion tippy-tapper shots when he was in the inside. Allen did not know what to do. I mean, the only thing Allen landed was probably a few uppercuts, literally copying what David Price did. I mean, Darren and Allen need to really look in the drawing board, because that was a terrible performance. One of the worst beatings Allen's took. He took a beating. Let's be frank. It was terrible. The technique is just not there. He has no boxing technique at all. He literally just has a chin, and that's about it. And then and that was to his detriment, because he had to get stopped, because I feel that he was taking too many clean punches from a puncher. David Price was probably busting up his skull, and Allen looked fatigued, maybe because it wasn't a high-paced fight. Let's get me wrong. David Price showed good stamina, but it wasn't a high-paced. He controlled it. He knew he had times to rest. He had time to double jab. He was not getting pushed back. David Allen was trying to push his head in and rough David Price up. David Price stayed composed. He was a bigger guy. He was cool. But David Price did what he had to do. In such a methodical way. He outclassed him. People were saying this fight should be closed. There's levels. No. David Price showed there's levels. David Allen is not at world level. There's a reason why he hasn't won a British title. There's a reason why he's not there. He is a fan favourite, and that's got him this far. He's a personality, that's got him this far. He's a tough guy, that's what got him this far. But virtually, he quit on his stool. I was talking to somebody about it when I was watching, and Dave Allen didn't quit, are you silly? He got pulled out. No, watch the fight. He told Darren, stop it, I can't do it. Stop it. Darren said, because listen, Darren wasn't holding a wire, he wasn't holding the towel. Darren coming out of finishing off the 10th. He wasn't holding the towel. Dave Allen came back. We didn't see him. Okay, I saw his legs start to fold near the 10th, because David Price was starting to amp the power, and he looked like David Allen was getting a bit shaky. But I didn't think he was going to get a stoppage, or they were going to throw in a towel. David Allen sat on his stool and said, "Nah." And good right, obviously, because he apparently fainted or collapsed while the doctors were checking him. So he knew how his body felt. He obviously could see that he felt something in his head. He had a headache. He felt something, and he said, "You know what?" Because Dave Allen's a tough guy, and let's not get twisted. He has stayed in with the likes of Ortiz for the ref to stop it. Mr. We don't know if he's a drug cheat. What's his name? Yoka. He took a battering from him for 10 rounds in bad shape, and he was in great shape in this fight, one of the best shape I've ever seen him. So David Price must have had some kind of power to really make Dave Allen quit on his stool, and obviously he did, because he affected him physically, mentally, broke him. And we all thought it was going to be the other way around, that David Price would be the one mentally broken, late on or early on. Who knew? No one was saying David Price to stop Dave Allen late on. that wasn't the consensus in the boxing community. That was what people expected. And it was a great, it was a good fight. Hats off to David Price. I feel like he needed a win like this. It's a basic win, no controversy, no ifs, buts, maybes, and it's a good name. He's beaten David Allen, and he's shown that he's not at that level. He's not at the Cash Allen level. He's not at the Tom Little level. He's not at the David Allen level. He's above that. In my opinion, he's at the Chisora. He's with the Chisoras. He's with the Caballeros. He can fight for that, the European. And I think, David Price is old, but he's savvy now. And he looked very savvy when he was doing it. He looked very controlled. He looked like he picked up the jab very well. Double jab was amazing. Uppercut, which I thought would be a very important punch when I did my post-fight review for this fight. It became crucial. And the body work was amazing. And it was just a great whole round performance from David Price. David Allen needs to go back to the drawing board. I've been hearing tweets that he's saying he's going to call it a day. He had some family help, mental thing. But at the end of the day, we don't want to hear excuses. Because from what I seen in this camp, all I saw was, I'm looking forward to going to Povetkin. David Price, I'll knock him out in 3 rounds. He's a good fighter, but I'm going to take him out. We're looking for Povetkin. 2 more fights, I'll be fighting Joshua, world title. So you obviously didn't have that much pork. You didn't have, and he was fit as a fiddle. He looked sharp. He looked great. Toned. His back looked strong. He looked fit. I'm just saying, you just haven't got the technique, and that's just about it. That's the only thing. He hasn't got the technique. He's got the heart. He's got the spirit. He's got the chin. Just hasn't got the technique. And you've got Darren maybe I don't know if Darren Barter was being a yes man or just kind of, giving some David Allen that kind of psychological big up because he's in a good winning streak. But David Price showed him a big slap in the face. This is levels. You can't go in there. I mean, David Allen was being stupid. He was lowering his hands, moving his head, being silly. Do you know what I'm saying? And ultimately, he looked confused. I mean, he wasn't throwing a jab, he wasn't throwing a hook. He just looked confused, And maybe all the training, all the stress, all this expectation of perfecting all this nonsense, he took his eye off the ball and forgot that David Price can outbox you. Way better boxer, way better accomplished amateur, fought better guys in the professional ranks. So I was impressed with David Price. I was disappointed with David Allen. I thought he could have pressured David Price a bit more on the inside, maybe hit the body a bit more, be a bit more aggressive. But ultimately, David Price is a level above, and I think he should be going up for maybe fighting the likes of Chisora. Maybe that'd be an interesting fight. But I think Chisora's going to go for Parker. But David Price is definitely in the mix. Don't get it twisted. Even though he's 36 years old, he can still give us some good, entertaining nights of boxing, which is great. And David Allen, maybe it's time to call it a day. He's a fan-friendly guy. He's a fan favourite. He's a great personality. But that might be just it. But the boxing side of it, I've never rated Allen, to be honest. He's a tough guy, good chin. But, you can only go so far in this game. You need to have some kind of offense and defense, and he didn't have it in this fight. But let me know what you guys think, because, where do you think Dave Allen goes now? I heard hopefully he recovers. My thoughts go out to the family. Hopefully he's okay and he gets out, and he's boxing is a dangerous sport. So if he gets out safe and sound. But yeah. Alright.